Good morning, everyone. And I want to thank Pro Bono for this opportunity that gave me to speak with you people this morning. And I want to just go straight to the point because my colleague has explained what is really trafficking. And I want to go to the areas of the job of Pia Onlus, why Pia Onlus come to existence. Pia is a project of integration and welcome to the migrants in the city of Asti, near to Turin, in the northern part of Italy. Pia was founded in the year 2000, 1999-2000, because I was an ex-victim of trafficking. I came into Italy through the traffickers that we organized well right from Nigeria to Italy. And when I came into Torino, I was exploited. I never knew that I can be a prostitute in my life. It was a shock to me. And this was something that brought a psychological problem to my life for many years before I could go out of it. And when I knew that this organization is very strong, I really tried my best to know what I would do in order to revenge the traffickers. That is why we were founded this organization in the year 2000 when I escaped from the traffickers. When I came in, I couldn't escape because of language barrier. I didn't know whom I need to talk to. All the clients, the important people in the streets, it was very, very hard to know the one you could talk to, whom you can trust and whom you may not trust. After 6 months, I got in touch with my husband, who is the president of the association, and he spoke a little English. I explained my problem to him. He helped me to escape with his friend, Piero Vicelli, who worked with me as the manager of the association for more than 10 years before he became the commissioner of welfare services in the city of Asti 2 years ago. We organized this organization because I really had in mind to reveal the secret of the traffickers. I was not afraid of them because I was not part of their group. I was not part of their states. I'm from Akwa Ibom State in another side of Nigeria, which I knew that it may be difficult for them to find my family. Because the same group of traffickers that brought me about 15 years ago, last 3 weeks, they got this kind of group, exactly the same group, with 30 Nigerian girls in Milano. And I thank God they have been caught by the police. When we talk of trafficking, trafficking have many, many types of trafficking. We have many different types of trafficking. There are exploitations on the women, the women with the forced labor, women with children, men as well these days, because the trafficking in the year 2000 is very different from this particular one that are coming now. We find the association that when I escaped in the year 2000, I escaped with other 4 Nigerian girls, which were my colleagues in the streets. I decided to hide some money when I was working in order to satisfy the traffickers, so that I could go into the Italian school and have ability to speak the language so that I would be able to exploit. I spoke even with my madam because in those days the traffickers sold the girls when they came into Italy. It functioned that they have a very great organization right from home, that they will send some searchers to go into the villages, into the shops, into the salons, into the market, into the supermarket, into the schools, that they will now talk to the girls and convince them to travel abroad. In essence, that they will propose to them that when you come, you get a good job in Europe, and you will be paid a lot of money, and within 6 months, you'll be able to give them back their money. In exchange, they will demand from 50,000 euros, 30,000 euros from each person. But I want to let you know that out of this money, you might work like 3 times the money, because the traffickers will now get every damn expenses from your hand. You will be the one to pay their houses. You will be the one to pay their rent, their food, their clothes, everything before they will now write down the money for you. And by the time you will ask questions, they will now terminate the one that you wrote before. So when I came into this group, one of the women in Nigeria approached to me that he have a very good restaurant in Italy, that if I work as a cook, I will be in a lot of money, and I need to refund about 45,000 euros to her as exchange of the expenses he did for me. I didn't know, because I had a restaurant in Nigeria and I was a very good cook in my state. I have to sell part of my restaurant to join her because of the proposal. But when I came in here, they sold me to another madam who is a little trafficker. As my colleague said, most of the traffickers, they were victims of trafficking before. And when they finish their payments, they have liberty. And they could now start to buy other women in order to exploit them as well. But when I came in, this woman bought me at the amount of 13,000 euros, and I need to pay her 45. I started the job because no way to run to. I was eliminated. They gave me a lot of fear and violence, that every day I need to swear an oath that I will never run away, neither report her to the police, until I got in touch with the people I know that they can support me. This is the areas we want to talk about, because the victims might not have the power to escape without we, without you, without me, without all of us. We need to support the victims, especially in the areas of legal practitioners, because the madams and all the traffickers, they have money. They pay their private lawyers in order to defend them in the courts, because they might be able to escape. It depends the courts of Italy. In this very year, when I escaped, they took a legal practitioner for me, and Pia Onlus was able to stand very well to support me. Though Pia came into existence exactly the same time that I escaped. So we met other groups of people like Tampep in Torino, and some priests of Catholic mission that supported my escape, and as well as the commune of Asti that decided to join us, and also gave us a shelter home for the other victims that ran away from the streets. I want to say that Pia Onlus is now enlarged to a large form, which we did not even imagine. We started this job with the 4 girls that ran, but now we are taking care of more than 145 refugees in the territory. And we had a shelter home for the victims of trafficking, which we have more than 15 women and the children also as well. And we offer assistance to the girls. How do we identify the victims of trafficking? In the city of Asti and Torino, we have a lot of women that stand along the roadside in the night and in the daytime. We have an outreach group that we go out every week to approach the women by giving them information concerning Italian laws and also health care services in the territory, which we collaborate with the Hospital of Asti for the HIV department in order to do control of HIV 8 days free of charge for them. In this case, we are able to convince the girl and knows them, because if they don't know us, they will not be able to open up to us, to tell us their problems. With this, we share condoms, we share other, like tea in the night for those that are working in the night. And after maybe 3 or 4 times, the girls might have confidence in us and started to come around in the office to tell us their mind. And by this, we use this media to speak about Article 18, which says that if a victim of trafficking denounces their traffickers, the entitlement to have Italian permit of stay, at least for 1 year. And other benefits follows as well, which we have the shelter home to keep the girls. We have protection with the police to support them. Then we have a skill education systems as well as scholarships for those who want to be trained. And also declare what we call Boxa di Lavoro. Bossa di Lavoro is a kind of project that really helped the girls and support them to forget about the type of money and how much they got in the streets, because there is money in the streets. But if you offer a girl only shelter, only feeding, they might change their mind, because in the country of origin, most of the victims, the family pushed them into the job because they are poor. There is poverty in Africa, as well as other countries like East of Europe, which we even work with the women also. So we offer them these services in order to make them choose which side are they belonging, because the traffickers offer them a lot of offer. They told them, by the time you finish payment, I will make you to become a madam like me. Madam is the second part of traffickers. The first group of traffickers are those that are searching for the villages. The second one are those, the men that brought the girls to Europe. The third one is the madam that bought the girl from the big traffickers. We call them trolley. And from there, they started their manipulations. So we, as the social operators, as well as the government of Italy, we have a benefit for this kind of group. And we that are working with the girls, we need to identify very well the people that are entering into our private associations, because most of the time, the madams may come in order to know what we are doing, and if the girls are running into our own groups. So when the girl ran from Asti, or in Torino, which is very close to us, we need to collaborate with other social networking, other organizations that do the same work with us in other parts of Italy, and transfer the girl to a very far place from where the traffickers can get them. I want to tell you that it is very dangerous to work in these areas, because most of our victims have a big problem in Nigeria, the country of origin, as well as East of Europe. Many of the girls might be attacked with the traffickers. Many of them may attack the family. Even this morning, I had a very bad news that one of the victims that was very, very strong enough to fight the madam, and the police in Nigeria arrested the madam when the woman traveled to Nigeria. This morning, we heard that the mother is dead. How? Why did the mother is dead? Because there was a lot of fighting, and Pia Onlus supported the girl by sending NAPTIP, another association in Nigeria, to follow up and protect the family. But we should know that there is corruption in Africa. If you don't have money, you cannot do anything. Really, the traffickers have more money than the victims. So the woman is dead this morning. We don't know why is dead, but we knew that 3 months ago, the traffickers went and beat up the mother and stabbed the mother with bottles, and the sister of the victims, they admitted them in the hospital. What kind of protection are we going to give them? As well as my colleague has said, it is not very easy to, for the victims to denounce their traffickers, but that is the only rules and the only law of Italian that can have benefit for them. But we have other stories. My own story as others' individual stories. My own story is that I was able to stand, to support, and to assist the traffickers. But we still have challenges in these areas. Why do we have the challenges? The challenges with the questura of the territory, the challenges with the chief judges, the challenges with the magistrates. Because the law says that if they cannot take the traffickers hand in hand and the victims stand in the high court to identify the traffickers, they might not have this benefit. But there is some fear in the victims, a lot of fear, because they swear an oath. We need some strong operators to defend them and to convince them that the oath does not have any cost on them. These oaths, we call this voodoo. The voodoo, they swear that if they don't pay their debt and if they take the madams to the police, they might die or their family might be perished. In this case, the madams took parts of their bodies like nails, like hair parts, and some undies, and now put this fear in the victim's heart. And this, not that the voodoo is not existing, it is existing. I am from Nigeria. I know that voodoo is real. But it depends the heart that you have, because what you believe is what can happen. But if you don't believe, it can never happen to you. In this area, we still need people that can talk to them and convince them that this kind of a thing does not exist. But what if it exists? Many of our victims lost their parents in these actions. After denouncing their traffickers, after 3 months, 6 months, we heard that the parent or the sister or the brother is dead. This is not the first time, and this may not be the last. But what offer do we give to them? Pia Onlus give all the victims support legally. We paid lawyers for the victims because each victim must have somebody that stands with the victim in the high court to defend them, as well as the madams have their own lawyers also. Which part are we? Today we are here, legal practitioners. Maybe the part of the traffickers might pay a lot of money, but the victims might not have this money to pay. That is the question that we want to talk about today. How can the legal practitioners support the victims? How can they still support the traffickers? Because most cases, the traffickers won. But we, the operators, will go back and we couldn't know what to do. After expressing all the points to the girl that Pia Onlus will offer you a legal practitioner and you will win the case, and the questura denied them the permit of stay. And in this case, the victim will be in the middle. He did not get any benefits from the government, and in the other area, he lost the case. So in this forum, I want to plead that if we are legal practitioners, we should know the kind of job that we are doing, especially in these areas of traffickers. They are not sleeping. They are still on work. Many girls come from Libya now. They declare asylum in Italy, as well as men. And I want to see that traffickers in men are here, because you might see a lot of Nigerians or other African countries standing in the supermarket begging for money, begging around the parks. What are they doing? They are begging money to pay their debts, even as well as men. They are paying debts now. So please, the challenges that we have, we need more focus on the areas that we have to help. We should not help the traffickers because they pay a lot of money for the lawyers. But we should see the poor side of the girl. That is why Pro Bono will support this kind of groups. As well, I want to say that if the Pro Bonos want to come into the associations, it will be better to work directly with the associations, because victims, they are slaves. They don't have any right to go out to look for lawyers by themselves. They don't have any time. They don't have money to pay. Even if the government give us free lawyers many times, but they don't have assets. Even if we give them the information, they don't go to school while they are being slaves. They cannot speak the language. So what do? We need to pass through another sector, which is the NGOs, which is more nearer to the victims, as well as mediators. Please, all those that are working in the areas of NGOs to help the victims of trafficking in one way or the other, or refugees, Pia Onlus assigns some lawyers that prepared their statement before they appear in the commission. We also use lawyers to accompany them to the commission, the day of commission, so that it might take fear from them. Because most of the victims, they are traffickers now in Italy. They went even into the accoglienza, into the shelter homes, that they hide the girls immediately they arrive. They have the organization that came and stole these girls, kidnapped the girls away. So like about 3 weeks ago, we still have information that one of the shelter homes, 25 Nigerian girls arrived. Within 2 nights, all the 25 vanished. But some of them, when they enter into the street, they saw the situation of the street, they now ran back to us. Day before yesterday, I got one teenager, which is not up to even 14 years old, that came in to ask for help. So please, I need to stop here. Thank you very much.